All right, so here's the fourth video in this series, and I'm going to be covering some of the student resources listed over here on the left. I'm probably only going to get through these first two items here for this video, and then I'll cover the content areas and interview questions and the final PPE report, most likely Monday and Tuesday next week. So if you can hold off on taking your quiz till maybe next Wednesday, that would probably be good, okay? And then we'll get all the information covered and you should be ready to go, okay? All right, so under student resources here, we have on-site placement instructions and virtual placement instructions, okay? We'll start with the on-site placement instructions. Okay, so your final PPE report, which let me just, this goes for everybody, what I'm gonna say now. So the end product from your PPE, whether it's virtual or on-site, is a final professional practice experience report. This report is not due until you take your seminar course, which is HIM 4556. And I believe for all of you, that will be spring 2 of 2021. Okay, so this spring. That means that at the conclusion of your PPE, you will have until then to work on this report. Okay, so excuse me, as you go through this report and your PPE, just, you know, keep that in mind that you have that time, but also that time can be a barrier if you forget things. So I would tell you, while you have a lot of time, I wouldn't procrastinate on this because you're going to forget what your notes meant. You're going to forget what people said, you know, all of those things. And I would hate for you to be that one group member that, you know, doesn't catch everything. And so I also don't think it's very fair to your other group members to be contacting them saying, hey, do you remember what she said about this or that? And so it's really important that you take the responsibility to take good notes and conduct this as if you were, you know, on site and you were interviewing this person one-on-one, okay? All right, so that's the final PPE report, okay? So this also applies to everybody here, and this will be on the virtual placement instructions as well, but I'll just kind of cover it here and just note this, okay? That your final PPE report has six sections. The first is the project. The second is content area essays. You're going to pick 5 content areas and write essays about those experiences and those topics. You're going to conduct a workflow analysis. I'm actually still working on pulling this together. This will be something probably outside of your interviews and outside of your on-site experience. Oh, not on-site experience. Hopefully your on-site experience, you'll get to do the workflow analysis. I'm sorry. So if you're on-site, typically your mentor will give you an area to do a workflow analysis on. For those of you that are virtual, I will provide that for you, okay? It's actually, I'm really hoping, a real world workflow analysis that you can work through, okay? The 4th section is management and leadership principles, where you interview somebody about their management and leadership style. The 5th section is an exploration, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but for those of you that are on site, an exploration is really just interviewing somebody that's in a more non-traditional role, okay? And then lastly, a reflection paper. So a reflection on your experience, all right? Okay. Note here too, number 2 here, it is the student's responsibility to seek out the resources, individuals, information, and guidance to address and develop all components of the final PPE report. So if you are on site, it is really important that you seek out the individuals you need to get this stuff done, okay? So if your mentor is not pulling through for you, is not providing you with a very robust schedule to accomplish these things, you need to talk with them, okay? And figure out a way to get what you need, all right? Okay, so you will, I mentioned this earlier, complete an evaluation on your PPE. This will be emailed to you. You are expected to enter 4 journal entries while you're on site, or for those of you that are virtual, you'll do this, you'll just have to do a total of 4 throughout that PPE, virtual PPE, okay? Again, here's a note about the evaluation of you. And so typically I grant some points for the completion of the evaluation. It's not tied at all to your performance. It's just kind of a checkbox, okay? And then just some other information here, okay? So again, send an email to your PPE site mentor 1 to 2 weeks prior to the start of your PPE. And here are the list of things that you should address with them. Other things that you might want to consider addressing in that introductory email is asking about the workspace that you'll have while you're at the site. Is there a computer or laptop for you to use, or should you bring your own? That's important, because the other thing is for all of you to think about how you'd like to take notes. You know, if you're on site, do you like to take notes on a computer or a laptop or a tablet, or do you prefer to just handwrite your notes? Those kinds of things, okay? And so if they don't provide you with a computer, you're probably definitely going to want to bring something, okay? If you have questions about the dress code, definitely ask about that. Lunch, you know, if they have a cafeteria there, you should then obviously report to your site at the agreed upon time, okay? You should notify me after you arrive on site. So for those of you doing an on-site PPE, please text or email me and just say, hey, Katie, I made it. That's all I want to hear. I just want to make sure that everything's going okay for you and that you're able to start your PPE that day. And I just kind of want to know how you're doing and that you made it, okay? And so you can simply email me, or here's my cell phone number. You can send me a text, okay? So then while you're at the PPE site, you are directly responsible to the PPE site mentor. And we ask that you follow all of their guidelines in terms of your break periods, parking, any departmental policies that they have. And then, these are great things to talk with your mentor about during orientation and that first day, okay? So if you have any, problems or concerns, we want you to reach out to the site mentor and discuss it with them first, okay? However, know that I'm here, obviously, and available to you should you need it. Sometimes, students just want to run something by me, like, hey, I'm thinking about addressing this, and is this a good approach? Those kinds of things. I'm happy to have those discussions with you. But know that if you are having a major conflict, I'm going to be looking to you to try to address it first in a professional manner. And if you're not getting anywhere, then I would potentially step in, okay? Make sure you're wearing your identification badge at all times. Of course, you're going to be expected to maintain professional behavior. These are all those things that I kind of covered in a previous recording on our policies, okay? We really want you to try hard to not be absent. Obviously, if you're sick, things happen, or if there's for heaven forbid, a loss in your family or something, an emergency or what have you, just reach out to your site mentor and me as soon as possible, okay? If you do require medical attention while you're on site, make sure you let your site mentor know. It's a really good idea to have your health insurance card with you while you're on site in case you do need medical attention, okay? Just kind of keep in mind that you're going to be sharing your experience with your classmates during the seminar course. You'll all be giving a presentation during that course. And so, experiences that are kind of unique or things that you found really interesting, make note of those, because those are really great things to share during that presentation, okay? Also, if you're on site, you may be traveling to other sites in the area for tours or meetings. like I said, a lot of these large health systems have different clinics, or sometimes HIM is even, located off site, off the main campus. And so you may be traveling back and forth, okay? And then lastly, if you're on site, make sure you have a copy of that health screening exam, because it's actually a joint commission requirement of the site that if they were to ask a student about that you be able to provide that to them. So this has happened where there is a joint commission survey happening while our students are on site, and that surveyor asks the student for a copy of their health screening exam. Okay, so make sure that you're able to provide that. Just make a copy. If you don't have a copy, have Eric, or pull it from Castle Branch. Have Eric get you a copy. Okay, and then lastly, your background checks. All right, so let's talk about virtual placements. Okay, so we really want you to, I'm going to highlight some things here, but if you're doing virtual experience, I would really like you to read this entire page on your own, okay? Just to make sure you understand what is expected of you, okay, and how this is all going to work. Mind you, this is new to Eric and I. We may have missed something. If you have a concern or a question that we haven't addressed here, do not hesitate to reach out to us, okay? We're in this all together, and Eric and I are here to support you as much as we can, okay? Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of reading here just to make sure I don't miss something. And so first of all, the objectives and the PPE content areas are really just assigned to or designed to help you complete that final PPE report, okay? And the objectives and the PPE content areas are going to be there to guide you in acquiring an overall experience in a working environment and assist you to function more effectively within that setting, okay? You're expected to be prepared to discuss all content areas with individuals at the various PPE organizations. And you're also going to be discussing the content areas upon your return to the college or online learning environment when you participate in seminar, okay? And so I will be setting up pre-PPE conferences with all of you. And then when you are in the seminar course, we're going to have a post-PPE conference, okay? So again, here's a list of the elements that make up your final PPE report, okay? Again, it will be due in the seminar course. It's your responsibility to, seek out the information that you need to complete it. Again, your evaluation will be completed by the mentor that oversees your project work. We are expecting you to enter 4 journal entries while you're conducting your virtual PPE, okay? Again, your project mentor, we've told them that they should clearly communicate with you their expectations, their needs, and their interests, and so it's important for you guys to have that open line of communication and meet regularly to track, what's happening with your project. Make sure you're on track, and then you're going to be tracking your hours as well. Okay, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec here. Okay, so each student will complete a minimum of 40 hours of required PPE time by conducting video interviews with industry professionals in a variety of HIM related roles. Project work will be completed as a portion of the PPE, okay? Okay, so we are going to be placing you in groups of 4 to 5. Eric and I actually hope to have those groups created within the next couple weeks here. As we iron out who's going to be actually going on site, and then for those of you that need to do virtual, we'll pull those together and let you know who your group members are, okay? Each group will have 1 student reach out to the site contact for each content area, okay? So that's something you need to work through with your group. Who's going to do that? We obviously don't want these individuals to receive 4 emails or 5 emails asking when they can meet, okay? And so you would reach out after your group has coordinated times, listing out what would work for everybody. You're going to conduct these, you're going to conduct these interviews over Zoom or maybe another web conferencing software. I'm just trying to think how that works. So say that maybe you have, I don't know if this would ever happen, but if you have a mentor that wants to use their own web conferencing software, that is just fine if they want to set that up, okay? And then you're going to use the content area questions as a guide for those meetings, okay? You will need to register for a Zoom Pro account, and I think I addressed this at the very beginning of class, and so make sure that you've done that, okay? Because you will have to, for your exploration, conduct interviews on your own, and so you do need a Zoom account, okay? We will provide you with a list of contacts, okay? Once all of the coursework is completed. So once we wrap up Unit 4, that's when Eric and I will give you the list of contacts. We're actually still trying to work that out with those individuals and make sure we have somebody for each content area, okay? And then again here, students will work with their group to schedule time with each of the mentors during business hours. All PPE activities must be completed by the end of the semester. Okay, so I believe that was the end of the last day of the term is December 18th. Okay. And then this is what I mentioned earlier. You are going to be expected to log all the time that you spend on PPE activities, okay? And here's a link to the Google form where you track your time. This is all activities. This is even your group meetings. This is the time you spend developing an email to send to a mentor. This is all of that time. And the background on that is because for our program accreditation, the program is required to offer a PPE that is a minimum of 40 hours. And so by you logging your time, this is a record for us to keep track, okay? All right. Okay. So additional general information and instructions. Okay, so you should make a group request to mentors no less than 1 week ahead of the proposed times that you guys have set up, okay? And when you email your these mentors to set up a time to meet, we would like you to include at least 3 or 4 times that may work for your group, okay? So that that mentor has some options to pick from, okay? Because they're obviously really busy as well. And then you're going to meet with the mentors at the agreed upon time. It's really important if you're in different time zones that you all get on the same page and that you know, you show up, okay? To ensure that there's no technology challenges, make sure you log in to the scheduled meeting about 5 minutes before it starts, okay? And then try to log your PPE hours within 24 hours of completing the activities using that form up here. And here's another link to it. I just don't want you to forget, okay? If you have any challenges or you miss any meetings, please email me, okay? Problems and concerns that arise should be discussed with, you know, your mentor, your project mentor, if it's related to your project or your group first before you reach out to me. But again, know that I'm here to help you, okay? You will obviously be expected to maintain professional behavior. With this, I would just want to mention a couple of things here. I might have this address down below, but I can't remember. It's really important that you still look professional, okay? Just as we would expect you to look professional if you were going on site, we do not want you laying in bed in your pajamas conducting these meetings, okay? We want you to look nice and professional and be sitting up and really attentive, okay? All right. Again, refrain from missing meetings, but if you do, let me know. We do not want you to record these group meetings, okay? We just want you to take notes, okay? And just kind of out of respect for the mentors, because they may be sharing some private information with you. It might even be some actual experiences they've had with maybe discipline or addressing certain things within their departments. And so we just ask you not record those. We will get to the exploration experience in a little while on another recording. And so during that, we'll talk about recording because that might be, that's a little bit different situation, okay? And again, remember that you're going to be sharing this experience with your class members in 4556. And so, you know, make note of those unique experiences, okay? All right, I think that's enough for now. I hope you all found this helpful. And if you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay.